You're listening to a Maldo Entertainment original podcast. Hey guys, and on today's session, we have the most requested person for this entire podcast. One of my most favourite directors to work with is none other than Generik Erik. We chat about the freedom which pornography brings to disability, plus the just amazing person that they are. So enjoy. Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Now this is probably going to be one of my most favourite episodes to do, and I will try not cry through it too, but we have the most amazing director that I've ever worked with, Generik Erik, and you guys have heard about this guy over the last 4 or 5 years that they've been directing my content, to the point where I constantly get asked, how's Erik, where's Erik? And you're constantly asking about him more than you are me, which is kind of cool because they are pretty amazing. So without further ado, how are you? He's fabulous.
I'm good.
Are you good? Okay.
Yeah. All right.
You sure about that?
Nah.
I wanted to get Erik on because I've got so many requests and now who this guy is that appears in all my films and only from arm's length. Basically, we met, I'd say, 4 years ago? No. What year are we?
Probably closer to 5.
5. Yeah.
Long time, yeah.
So, what was your reaction of being a sex worker and LGBT activist and all that kind of shit that I am? What was your reaction to that?
Oh, well, given that it was like 5 years ago, I don't really have clear recollection.
Yeah, I don't know if I came out to you straight away, but I think...
I don't think you did, but I don't recall an actual coming out as such. It was more an organic kind of flow.
Yeah.
You get to know you for a little amount of time, and you've got a filthy mouth on you.
Yeah, well...
You can't play nice for a sustained amount of time.
Yeah, probably about 5 minutes.
Yeah, so it comes out eventually. There was probably a defining moment. I was fairly new to the job, and you mentioned you'd been invited to a cake and cunnilingus party.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And I must have looked shocked. I probably was shocked. And you said, "Oh, don't worry, I'm not going." And I was like, "Oh, good, relax." And then you said, "I don't even like cake."
I do remember that.
Okay, that gave me a fair indication with who I was working with.
Yes. I think I was asking whether you would come with me or not, because I didn't have a date at that time. So
I can't remember.
I was hoping that you'd actually, I don't know, maybe I didn't voice it, but I was like, I think you need to come along with me. We need to organise one in celebration of that, actually, because I've never had one since, and it's been 5 years later. So anyone who knows me knows that I don't eat cake, as you just said, but I can just sit on it, or and that's to do with cunnilingus.
Yeah, we've done that. We've sat on cakes.
Yeah, I know, but I'd be quite happy to do it again. So because I hadn't started doing porn until around that same year that I met you, so it was meant to be. It was meant to be. Have you found that challenging, or have you found it enlightening?
Well, it's never
or nothing.
It's never boring. It's never the same. I keep telling people my job's really weird, without going into a great amount of detail.
Well, that's good because
you never know what you're going to do.
I don't think this was going to be a side job for you, and now it is. So, and you've got your own fair club going on, and possibly more after this episode. So, anyone that wants to be a vice president, anyone wants to book him, he's not available. He's mine. Okay, so that's how it works. So, but sadly though, with it being 5 years later, there's so much prejudice still going on surrounding many in the LGBT communities as well as disabilities. So how have you sort of found that as part of your job, and where people have reacted to me when I've said what my job is and what we do together? How have you found that? Do you still think that there's a long way to go, or do you think we're getting better, or?
Oh, it's getting
That's a long-winded question, but
it's a very long. I've lost where we were in the beginning.
sorry, I remember.
It's getting there. It's getting there. Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't think that people with disabilities have any type of sex life. And I know when I've spoken at events and you've been assisting me at events, and people are like, I don't think you're meant to be here. Like, it doesn't fit, you know?
Yeah, people seem surprised, or...
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is they feel like if you have a disability, you must be...
Incognitive of making
You
your own
must have
decision.
no idea what you're doing, so therefore you're being exploited. Someone is making you do
Exactly.
stuff.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest load of bullshit that was ever invented.
Totally.
People with disabilities make decisions every day about their lives. Why is this different? The answer is it's not different. It's
Absolutely.
exactly the same. You're allowed to make decisions. You're allowed to make right decisions. You're allowed to make wrong decisions. You're allowed to make mistakes.
And we're
You're
all
allowed to
make
fuck
mistakes.
up, and then you're allowed to make other decisions which fix that.
Yeah.
You know, but
Totally.
people look at you sitting there in your wheelchair and start thinking, no, that's not right.
I think a lot of people think that the wheelchair is also a barrier, so how could we possibly engage or promote sexuality because we've got this barrier?
Oh, well, of course it's going to get in the way, but everyone has barriers that get in the way. They're just not going to be as obviously visible barriers.
Yeah.
Everyone's got their own barriers.
So when you've told people what you do, I don't know whether you've gone into depth with people with what you do, it depends on what circles you frequent. Have you had any prejudice in regards to that, saying, no, you should not be doing that with that person?
Well, if I thought I was going to get prejudice, I wouldn't bring it up.
Yeah. I guess you can tell from people's lives.
You've got to be able to tell beforehand before you start saying things like that, because it can go completely wrong. Yeah. And I don't trust people with that kind of information unless I know they're going to be cool with it.
No, I don't either, but I always tell people, especially if they work in the industry, and I know you started when I started because I kind of recruited you into the dark side. I said, make sure you tell people that you assist a fellow sex worker. And they're like, oh, I couldn't do that. I'm a disability support worker. I said, no, but it sounds better. If people aren't used to disability, then it's less confronting. You know, it doesn't matter if I have a disability or not.
Yeah, because people can be really strange about that sort of stuff to start with. People are weird about the caring profession in general. And, you know, if I tell people I'm a disability support worker, they often go, oh, that's so good of you.
You're going to heaven.
That's a
He's not going to
thing
heaven
you're
either.
doing. I don't know how you can do it. I could never do that. And I'm always like, what? You can't help someone. You can't make toast. What is it about the situation that you can't do? You know. Yeah, but that's your role. This person has a disability. Yeah. They need to do certain things in their life, and some of the things they can't do without assistance.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's your job description, basically.
Yeah.
It's very broad.
Yes, it is very broad.
Very broad. As long as you're not engaging in illegal activities, then you should be able to assist with whatever it is that you're capable of assisting.
How do you think we can change that mindset of people?
How can we? I
Is
don't
that
know. Still keep talking about it, I suppose. Still keep doing it.
And I suppose doing like podcasts like this, hopefully
exactly,
other people
bring awareness about these kind of things.
And I was saying to someone this morning that like a lot of clients will get frustrated and then they get told that they're doing dodgy behaviour when they're not really. They're just sexually frustrated and they don't know how else to express it because they don't have the access to get to sex workers or that release that they're needing because it seems to be a bad thing. Yeah,
well, things are starting to, I mean, now you can, on your NDS plan, get, what do they call it?
Sexual therapy.
Sexual therapy or something.
Yeah,
Like that.
it's got to be known as a therapy, people.
Well, yeah, it's
It's got to be known as a therapy, unfortunately.
It's very specific and it's very tight.
Kind of like me, really. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, there we go. There's that filthy mouth I was talking about.
Sorry, I was just, but it's kind of almost too specific. If people just said, look, I need to access this service because I can't get a route any other way, it should be fair. Okay, so talking about assisting and me being tight and I don't know, good segue. The first film that you ever actually assisted me on, and I asked you to do so, was the award-winning See Me, which I was so grateful to work on. It was through Bright Desire and Miss Naughty, and I got so much praise about you and the way you held yourself and etiquette that you had on set, and actually giving a shit about me, because apparently you're not really meant to give a shit about me.
Oh, apparently.
So then it made me realise that you're pretty. I'm gonna try and not cry. You're pretty amazing, and you taught me so much about myself, because I remember when I first met you, I was like really polite and shy, and I can't do those things, and you went.
Oh, that didn't last long. Come on.
I know, but you're proving to me that I'm worthy of more than what I felt I was.
Okay.
So, if that makes sense. So, what was the rest of the question? I go off to a tangent.
I'm bamboozled that I get praise for.
I know.
Treating that as
I
professional
constantly get that, and I always get like, how's Eric? If we do another film, is Eric available? Because he's great, he's really awesome. So, and I thought I was lovely.
It was, you were there to do a job.
Yeah,
you were being professional and doing your job, and my part of that arrangement was to support you in that and be unobtrusive.
Yeah, I got less praise than you did. That was a praise.
I was just there to make sure you were in the right place, and that no one was supposed to be paying attention to me. That was the thing. They were supposed to be paying attention and seeing you.
Yeah. Of course, it's
called See Me.
Yeah.
And they were supposed to see you. They weren't supposed to see me. Exactly. It was supposed to run seamlessly, smoothly, by me catching the things before they happened wrongly.
Yeah. I don't think that. I think I was that nervous because it was my first studio film, and I think you made me feel a lot better. But also, I think that showed to the rest of the crew as well. And I know every other film that we've done since together, people have noticed that. That's why this podcast was a huge request. So that's kind of made me a better person and made our productions a lot better. And you're cheap.
Yes, I'm very cheap.
Yes. And it's forced me to be more creative, even though I pick your brains the majority of the time and go, babe, I don't know what we're doing, but we get there in the end. I call myself an angry whore now because people shit me all the time. And I think before I was more like, no, it's okay, and I'm nice and polite and whatever. But you've told me not to be like that and sort of question everything that I do if I don't feel it's right. And if people are taking advantage, then I go stand up and go, oi.
Yeah, don't let that shit happen. I don't think you were aware that you could do that. No,
so thank you.
Oh, you're perfectly welcome.
You started my porn career. No, I actually didn't think. I didn't think that I would be able to do what I do because I was too trapped in my own body to feel like I was worthy of even showing that to anybody else. So with working for me and all that kind of stuff and teaching me more about myself because he does all the time. He can't help himself, really.
I can't help it.
Yeah. Has it changed any through working with me and the responses I got from people or the reactions I get from people? Has it changed your perspective about disability and sexuality at all or improved it? Anything at all?
No.
See, why can't...
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know you find that question really difficult, but I think it's a really powerful thing for people to know, because you're the only person I've ever met that does not have a problem with it.
Yeah, I didn't have an issue walking in, and I don't have an issue now. It's not changed a lot. But the first job that I went to have a look at the place that I was going to be working, and the manager was walking me through and introducing me to the clients, where it was just like a block of 3 units, and one woman who lived there came up to me and said, "Do you think it would be all right if I go to visit this person in unit 3 sometimes?" And it was like, this was very important to her, and I was like, I can't see why you shouldn't, you know. And since figured out that she was sweet on this guy in number 3, but she'd been told not to go over there because you're not allowed to engage in that sort of nonsense. This is like 20-something years ago.
Okay, so
and things have changed now, but and that became a thing for me to advocate for her to be allowed to go and visit this guy in number 3.
Because blowjobs are important.
And, to work with his flatmates and her flatmates and the management who didn't like it, that it was okay if she went there. And since that couple went on to move in together into a flat together, and I had to advocate and push every step of the goddamn way.
Look at him go.
And they got married, and but that would not have happened if nobody spoke for them, if nobody pushed for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also in the
really
same place
sad.
as a nice couple of girls with Down syndrome who were also in love. And they also lived in separate units, and I had to advocate for them to be allowed to have sleepovers at each other's houses, and then advocate further on down the track over the course of years that they were allowed to live in the same unit. And then they wanted to get a queen-size bed instead of 2 single beds and that sort of thing, and fighting with parents and fighting with with management and staff and everyone around us. But it's something that you push for because you know it's important, and other people who don't live in these circumstances don't even have to think about it.
I think they think it's not real, and if it's not discussed, it'll go away.
Yeah, and it doesn't go. It's not going to go away.
And we are humans, and we're not aliens. But that brings me to a question that we haven't discussed. Have you noticed a pattern between all of your people that you've come across that you've had to advocate for the same thing?
Yeah,
I think that's really good.
I certainly have.
I think you're meant to, that was meant to be. I don't think you ever thought you'd be at the point where you met me and then,
Oh yeah,
doing what we do.
This was the road that my life was taking, but apparently
you didn't think you'd be an award-winning porn director?
Oh gosh.
Oh, see, I just brought that out in, Yeah. So, but I think I've never heard that story, and I think that's amazing.
Yeah, that's a big part of what I did.
Oh, you still do, and you're still to the point where I end my
career.
career.
It's still going to be a thing that needs to be pushed for, I can tell.
Yeah,
and not so much as it was back then, because people are waking up to it a little bit, and it is made a little bit easier.
Yeah.
And that company that I was working for, management changed and ideas changed, and it was a lot easier in the last years that I was there than it was in the beginning.
Yeah.
Because legislation changes also.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's getting better. It's getting better, but you've always got to be.
Yeah.
Someone's got to stand up.
And I feel like sometimes where there's 2 people in the adult industry. There's me and Raven Dark Angel, but I feel like we're both in the same position where we've both got CP, we're both in chairs, but we're hitting our head against a brick wall constantly, even though we're trying to advocate for this is how it should be, and for so many other people with disabilities as well, and not even that, like cultural reasons, sexuality, orientation, everything, because we kind of all fall into the one umbrella, both of us, and it's so difficult, and Some days I
Yeah.
think, I don't want to do this anymore. But, you know, I love my job, so... Yeah, and I hope that when
You'd have to, or you'd stop. Wouldn't
Yeah,
you?
and when I hope that when I actually retire, because I'm like the John fan of porn, I decided that I retire and I come back after 2 days, that things will change and it will get easier, and once I stop performing, then I can focus more on that, but I hopefully won't
But
need
if no one's out there fighting for it, then it doesn't
Yeah.
change.
But I'm hoping once I get to that point, I actually won't need to, because it will already be a thing that's out there.
Yeah. Well, in generations
it seems
to come,
to be-
perhaps that's what we're aiming for. It's
So
slow. It's painfully slow.
It's like I said to Eric before the show, we need to like duplicate him like 5 times. and
And I keep saying, I don't know how to do that.
yes, you do. You can.
No.
Well, you've duplicated my organ several times in one shot, so you can duplicate things. You can
It's all
become
about the
like
editing.
Yeah, well, and no, not necessarily. It's skill. It's skill. Well, one final question and we'll keep battering on if you have anything else to say, because I just want to keep you around for forever. Because this is the Margarita Sessions, and I've named it because alcohol is a bit of truth serum, and people talk more once they're pissed. Not that we're pissed right now, but what's your favourite alcoholic drink?
Oh, I'm partial to a nice drop of red. I don't even care if it comes out of a box. I don't care.
I have to say, I have seen his dance moves after he's had a couple, and they're pretty good. And there's
You reckon?
some reason why I keep coming back to him, because he's got skill in that area too. But I can't dance, so maybe he can teach me some moves.
Right, you just wiggle the... No, that's not working on this chair. If I wiggle it too much, it doesn't actually move, because it doesn't...
Oh, so
Yeah.
what are you referring to at this point?
Oh, the little joystick on the wheelchair that I'm sitting in.
He's not actually referring to the wheelchair, he's referring to something else.
No, I'm referring to the wheelchair.
You sure?
And now I've ruined it. I've broken it. There you go. You can't dance in a wheelchair. I broke it.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm sure you weren't referring to the wheelchair, but okay. Well, you said just wiggle it and then it happens.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay, well, that was the last scripted question, because we don't script these podcasts at all. So, yeah, is there any parting words you would like to say to your fans, because they're constantly asking me?
Why do I have fans? Why do I have fans?
Also, I know
That's what I'd like to
a lot
say.
of people have been asking when I'm going to do an anal scene. So I said that I was going to discuss that with you on the list of things.
Oh my goodness.
So
Here we
I
go.
don't know. Yes, it will happen at some point. He's looking at me like, oh fuck no.
Yeah, well, that's got to be scripted, because I'm not just racing into that like a bull at a
Well,
gate. Goodness me.
I think when I was discussing with the beautiful Lux the other day, my first anal scene, and I, you usually prepare for that shit, and I was like, no, because I'm a pro, I don't need to do that, I don't need the enema, I don't need nothing, so I'm going in there having a good time, and you weren't there, sadly. So you missed it, so that's probably why it wasn't as good. And the butt plug just flew across the room, because I clenched and it went pull, and it flew across the room.
Projectile.
Yes. And I was like, well, that's the end of that 2 minutes. If you want to see more of Eric's lovely hand moves, you can check out... Well, they are pretty good. You can check out Melina Loves Eric, and that's available now on all your favourite platforms. And we might have to make it around 2 and around 3 and around 4 if people keep requesting, because it's pretty damn good.
Why do I have fans? I don't understand.
Because I think, because every time I have a film with you, I seem to orgasm quite quickly. And I think that's what people enjoy.
Oh, okay.
So,
all right.
Yeah. Your question, I think you have fans because people notice that our connection is organic And I was going to say orgasmic, but that would be too,
That's just creepy.
Well, it is orgasmic, but people, it happens and it's easy, and I think we might get him back. We were talking about memorable moments, and we were struggling to come up with one because you were saying every single one of them is memorable, which I think is, I'm more in love with you than I was before. But then I was thinking about it and I came up with one, and it was when I did my first lesbian scene with the lovely Kate Barlow. And
Kate.
Yeah, we love Kate. She's retired now, but we always wanted to come back so I can fuck her again. So I always say, Kate, if you're listening, come back because it gives me a reason to fuck you. Anyway, and it was an interesting scene, and first time we'd ever met, and we thought we'd just see where it goes. And Eric decides to lie under my kitchen bench, which is kind of like an overhang of how would you describe it? I don't know.
Well, an overhang of a kitchen bench is where you put the stools go under.
Yes, I didn't know how to describe it. So you kind of put your stools around the bench and,
Yeah, if you've got stools, but you didn't have stools. But so that's where I fitted.
So Eric decided to lie down and, enjoy himself under the table. Not actually enjoy himself, but I'm sure
I was staying out of camera shot. I was being there, so if my assistance was needed, I was there.
Moral
but
support.
Also staying out of camera shot.
That's his excuse, and Anyway, so Kate and I are getting into it, as you do, and all I could see out of the corner of my eye was Eric smiling at me the entire time, quite like a shishy cat, really. And it was just putting me off, and I'm like, I really want to fuck this chick.
Oh, that didn't get you into the mood?
No.
Oh.
Well, everyone knows that I love you, but, I was trying to focus on Kate and the loveliness that she is, but no, all I could see out the corner of my eye was you just smiling at me. Which was kind of nice, thinking, look at you, you're about to get fucked, but didn't really work out.
I'm here.
Then I had
if you need me, here I am.
Yeah, I know, but then I had to politely ask you to leave the room because it was too off-putting. Anyway, so, I think that's one of my most memorable moments. And involuntary orgasms. Probably other ones as well, but, none that come to mind because there's so many of them. Anything you want to add to that? No. He's quite adamant that he wants to leave and finish this podcast right up, so... Yeah. Okay. Sure. I'm just going to give you another... You sure?
No.
Okay. I think this might be a memorable moment.
Look, okay, I've never done a podcast before.
I know.
Here's a first for you.
I've popped his cherry. I feel quite honoured.
There you go.
Quite honoured.
Yeah.
I think any excuse to get him back, I'm happy. Alright guys, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thanks, Eric!
No worries!
He's just playing with my knob.
Yeah. Oh, that's not the way I wanted to go.
I'm really jealous. He's playing with my knob and I can't feel anything.
Oh. Woohoo. Oh, don't I've got no control.
If you've ever seen a man in a flannelette shirt driving a wheelchair and touching a knob, it's quite erotic.
Is it?
I don't know.
Not from this angle, it's not.
No, not from that angle.
It's all about your perspective.
Yeah. Remember, you can also follow me on social media, Instagram and Twitter at Melina Viking, and check out my website, my.bio/Melina Viking, and you can buy my videos, watch me live, and so much more. Thanks for joining us today, guys, and I look forward to bringing you the next Margarita Sessions.